What is going on, guys? Hassan Malik back here again, and now that we have pretty much seen every single LEGO Star Wars set that we are going to be getting this year, aside from one set, that being the UCS AT-AT, and then there's also the Luke's lightsaber build, which is actually a gift with purchase, so it doesn't count as a retail set. Also, that set recently just leaked, so if you like to see images of that, make sure to go follow me on Instagram, where you can see the images there. Anyways, this year we got a whole bunch of sets from the Mandalorian TV series, which is why we are going to be doing a ranking video today, where I'll rank every single LEGO Mandalorian set that we've gotten so far. So yes, that includes 2019, 2020, and also 2021. But before we go ahead and do that, I did want to give a really quick reminder that the giveaway for $100 worth of your choice of LEGO sets is still going on. It actually just began, and all you got to do to enter is make sure you are subscribed to the channel, follow that link in the description, and sign in with your YouTube account. So make sure you enter if you'd like a chance to win some of the LEGO Star Wars sets that we're going to be taking a look at today. Okay, so we have 10 sets that we're going to be taking a look at today, which makes it pretty convenient because this makes it like a top 10 list as well. Also, I did want to butt in here and give a really quick spoiler warning for the Mandalorian season 1 and 2. So if you guys haven't seen it, make sure to go watch those seasons first, then come back and watch this video. Okay, back to the video. So we'll be starting at number 10 here and counting all the way up to number 1, but before we go ahead and do that, I did want to give a quick honorable mention to one set in particular here, and that is set number 75316, the Mandalorian Starfighter. Now, I think this is one of the best sets that we've gotten in 2021, but unfortunately it's not a set from the Mandalorian. But the thing is, this vehicle actually shows up in the Mandalorian Season 2, and also Bo-Katan is a major part of the Mandalorian show as well. So because that, this is actually a great set to pick up if you're really into the Mandalorian. I mean, Bo-Katan's suit doesn't really change all that much throughout the show. It's pretty much the exact same outfit that she wears in the Clone Wars, so this minifigure works perfectly for the Mandalorian as well. And also, even if you're not into the Clone Wars, which if you're a Star Wars fan, I'd highly recommend, you still get these really great minifigures, that being an extra Death Watch Mandalorian, and also Gar Saxon, who is arguably one of the coolest looking Mandalorians of all time. Anyways, with our honorable mention out of the way here, let's start things with number 10, which is set number 75307, the Star Wars Advent Calendar. So this set was released in 2021, and it retails for $40 and includes 335 pieces. Now, this is not a bad advent calendar at all, and technically it's not even a Mandalorian set, but in my opinion, this set is completely based on the Mandalorian. I mean, in terms of the minifigures we get here, the vehicles and the builds, everything in some way relates to the Mandalorian. It's not exclusive to the Mandalorian or anything. We do have an X-Wing here and a TIE Fighter as well, but in general, all these elements do appear in the Mandalorian in some way. So because that, this year's advent calendar is kind of like a mini Mandalorian advent calendar. Anyways, the set itself here is not that bad as advent calendars go. It's a pretty good one. We get two exclusive minifigures in this set, that being Mando with his Christmas scarf and also Grogu in a Christmas outfit as well. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the advent calendars, to be honest. I kind of just get them for the minifigures, but you know what, as advent calendars go, it's not a bad one, which gives it our 10th spot on this list. Alright, at number 9 here we have set number 75318, the Child. It was released in 2020, and this set retails for $80 and includes 1,073 pieces. So this is pretty much an Ultimate Collector Series Grogu, and I honestly don't think it looks that bad. I think it gets a general look of Grogu across here, but I do think it fails to capture that cuteness that Grogu has. But it still looks very cute and everything, and it actually looks like the character. So I think the designers did a pretty good job. It's just really hard to capture the look of a face with LEGO bricks. I mean, bricks are pretty sharp and have all these edges and everything, and faces are more curved and round. So because of that, it's a little bit hard to capture the face of a baby alien in LEGO form. Either way though, I still think they did a pretty good job. And for any big fans of Grogu, or Baby Yoda as he's known, this is a great set to pick up and have on display. But yeah, pretty good build, and that will do it for our number 9 spot. Let's get on to number 8 here. So at number 8 here we have set number 75299, Trouble on Tatooine. This set was released in 2021, and it retailed for $30 and includes 276 pieces. Now, you may be wondering why I have this set ranked so low on this list. And while at the time it was a very hyped set, and I think everyone was really trying to get their hands on it, now that we've seen some of the other Mandalorian sets, this set has kind of lost its appeal. Now, the reason that this set was so hyped up when it first launched was because this is the first time that we ever got Din Djarin in his full Beskar outfit. The first variation of the Mandalorian minifigure was great and everything, don't get me wrong, but this minifigure was completely decked out with arm printing, and it looked very accurate to the suit that he actually wears in the show. And it's the one that everyone's been asking for and the one that everyone wanted, and this is the first time that we got to see him in a a set, so because of that, this set was really sought after by fans. And on top of that, it was the cheapest way to get your hands on Grogu, which at the time the only other way you could get this minifigure was by buying the Razor Crest, which is $130. And then when you pair all of that with the fact that this set was released in the winter wave of 2021, which means that there weren't many other sets released in that wave. In general, it was a pretty lackluster winter wave. We only really got an X-Wing and a TIE Fighter as well, but in general the sets weren't too interesting, making this one stand out a lot. So due to all those factors, I think the value of this set was highly inflated. And now seeing some of the rest of the sets that we've gotten this year, looking back, this set feels a little bit overpriced and kind of unnecessary to me. I mean, this version of Mando is in pretty much every set now. There's so many different ways that you can get this minifigure. He almost kind of reminds me of like Emmett or Lego Batman from the Batman movie and the Lego movie as well. They're kind of just throwing him into everything, which isn't even a bad thing because it's a great minifigure. But still, at $30, this set just doesn't seem that worth it. The build, in my opinion, is not that interesting. You're pretty much just buying this for the minifigures and maybe that speeder bike as well. And while the episode that it's based on is pretty cool, I think the coolest part about that episode was the actual crate dragon, which is not included in this set in any way. So yeah, definitely not a bad set, but I do think it's lost its touch quite a bit. Alright, moving on to number 7 on our list here, we have set number 75311, the Imperial Armored Marauder, and this set was released in 2021 and it retailed for $40 and included 478 pieces. Now this is a great little set. I think the episode that it's based on is pretty fantastic. The minifigure selection here is pretty nice as well. You get an updated Grief Karga and also a Mortar Trooper, which is a really nice minifigure to see, especially since we don't see that many different variations of Stormtroopers. You also get 2 standard Stormtroopers here as well, and I know fans of the last variation of the Stormtrooper aren't going to like these minifigures all that much with their new large helmet. Honestly, I don't like them that much either, but they are growing on me a little bit. And you pair that with a really decent build from a really nice vehicle from the Star Wars universe, and you have a really nice set overall. Now, if you look at the price per part range, it's definitely under that 10 cents a piece, which makes it sound like a pretty good deal, right? But the thing is, when you actually have this thing, it doesn't seem like it's worth $40. At least it doesn't to me. It feels a little bit small, and for $40, I kind of expect to have a little bit more with my Lego sets. Not to hate on the build at all, though it's a very nice build and it works very well as a Lego set. I just feel like this set should have been like $35 or maybe even $30 just based on what you actually get here. Also, I would have loved to see Cara Dune included in this set as well, just because she was so important in that episode. But yeah, it's still a really cool set, even though it's one of the more forgettable sets from this summer wave. And next up on our list here at number 6, we have set number 75254, the AT-ST Raider. This set was launched all the way back in 2019 and it retailed for $50 and included 540 pieces. Now this set was actually quite underrated when it first released because this set came out before the TV series did. And because of that, we didn't really know how special the Mandalorian was going to be and how important it was going to be to the Star Wars universe. Like at the time, we didn't know that much about the show, we didn't know anything about Grogu or anything like that. The general consensus was that it was going to be a pretty decent show in the Star Wars universe and it wouldn't really exceed all that many expectations. But it went ahead and shocked everyone and kind of stole the internet when it first came out. And because of that, the value of this set completely skyrocketed and everyone wanted to get their hands on it. As I said though, it's not that bad. For $50 you get an AT-ST, although it's not a standard AT-ST, it still works pretty well. I've never really liked how the modern Lego AT-STs work. I feel like the legs are too sturdy and don't really give that much range of motion. But Lego tests actually have to pass a certain level of durability test to actually be used as a toy because it's going to be used by kids, so it does actually have to have that durability. Still though, the build looks pretty cool and I think the episode that it's actually based on was really cool as well. The minifigure selection here is really nice. You get 2 Raiders, which are a little bit forgettable, but then you also get the cheapest set that includes Cara Dune and also Mando in his season 1 outfit. Now this Mando may look a little bit off because his helmet does use that gunmetal gray, which is a little bit too dark. In my opinion, that gunmetal gray is too dark, but the new lighter gray is a little bit too light. Like I'd actually personally prefer a shade that's between both of those. And also this helmet needs a complete rework when it comes to that printing. For some reason, Din Djarin's visor is the exact same shape as Boba Fett's, which just isn't true when you look at the actual TV series. It should be a little bit more tapered toward the bottom, you know, it should look a little bit more sleek, but this minifigure here just doesn't really capture that look. Other than that, that was still a pretty cool minifigure and he is included in another set as well, that being the Razor Crest. And then another fun fact about this set, until summer 2021, this was actually the only set that included Cara Dune. So because of that, when that whole controversy happened with Gina Carano being fired from The Mandalorian, the value of this minifigure skyrocketed, causing the value of this set to skyrocket as well. Like just her minifigure alone was selling for like $50 and $60 on Bricklink. But after all that drama and everything subsided and we got to see another Cara Dune minifigure included in another set, the value of this minifigure did come down quite a bit. But I just thought that was worth mentioning about this set. Either way, it's a really cool one and it'll take our number 6 spot on this list. Alright, we are now halfway through our list here and at number 5 we have set number 75319, the Armorer's Mandalorian Forge. This set was released in 2021 and it retails for $30 and includes 258 pieces. This is actually our newest Mandalorian set. It was only released a month ago in September, and while it is based off the Mandalorian Season 1, it is still a very nice set to have. Obviously, the Armorer's Forge is a very iconic location from the Mandalorian TV series, and it's great to finally see this location and also these minifigures, that being the armor and Paz Vizsla in minifigure form. I really love it when we get LEGO Star Wars sets that are based off environments and locations, not just vehicles. Don't get me wrong, vehicles are cool and everything, I just really like this playset style a little bit better. And this location is just so cool looking, and I think LEGO did a great job recreating it here, which makes this set very awesome. It's just so unique, you know, it's a forge from the Star Wars universe. We've never seen a set like this in LEGO form. Anyway, speaking of the set here, I think it's a great build. The forge itself looks awesome. There are tons of little extra details here all throughout the build. We have a blank Mandalorian helmet up there. You have a sticker of the Mythosaur skull as well. There's also a little hologram and also Beskar ingots. This set just includes a bunch of different details all packed into this one little build. So I think it executes perfectly on that build. Then looking at the minifigures here, I think those are even better. So we do get that standard Din Djarin Mandalorian minifigure here, only this time he has a jetpack instead of the cape. Now strangely, this jetpack is actually done in gunmetal gray, even though his helmet is done in the lighter silver. Both those are supposed to be made out of the same material and have the same color, which we see in the TV show, that being Beskar. Like, it should all be silver, to be honest. I mean, the printing on his torso is also silver, his helmet is silver, so shouldn't the jetpack also be silver? I don't know, I think it's a little bit of a strange choice. Either way though, it's just nice to see him include the jetpack as well, because he does use it quite a bit throughout the show, but we've never gotten an official Din Djarin with his jetpack until now. So that is pretty cool to see. And then the next two minifigures here are really well done, starting with the Armorer. I know a lot of people took issue with this minifigure, specifically with how low her face mask is printed on that helmet piece. Honestly, I do get the concern, but I don't think it looks all that bad in person. Like, yes, it should have been printed a little bit higher up, but it doesn't detract from the look of the minifigure all that much. Also, I really do like this new mold that they introduced with the Gar Saxon minifigure as well, and I think it's a great reuse of that part. Like, yeah, her horns aren't that big and they don't protrude that much, but I still think it's better to include this than have nothing at all. And last up here we have Paz Vizsla, who's the best minifigure included in this set by far, and he looks absolutely amazing. The printing all over the place is great. He does have that new armor piece that he wears on top of his torso there, and that is also printed, which looks really nice. And then I really do like his Mandalorian helmet as well, which is really scuffed up and damaged. It looks awesome. And yeah, this minifigure just looks big and bulky and menacing, just like he does in the TV series. So yeah, great set. Even though at $30 I would have liked to see it be a little bit cheaper, it's still really awesome, and I think if you get your hands on this one, you definitely should. Alright, next up here at number 4, we have set number 75267, the Mandalorian Battle Pack. This set was released in 2020 and it retailed for $15 and included 102 pieces. Now, not even just based off Mandalorian sets, I think this is one of the coolest battle packs that we've ever gotten from the LEGO Star Wars theme. I absolutely love Mandalorians, and getting battle packs from the Mandalorians of just standard unnamed Mandos is great, and I just love the fact that all these Mandalorians have different armors here with different colors, which makes them a lot more customizable. The printing is really well done. You get a nice variety of figures here. The build is also not that bad. It's just a speeder in a little rock formation, but the speeder does look pretty decent as well. It is a little bit unfortunate that they are using stud shooters here, but it is nice to know that we won't be seeing them return when battle packs return in 2022. But yeah, great little set. I'm sure a lot of you guys already own this one, maybe even multiples of it. It's a great set to have. But yeah, that will do it for our number 4 spot on this list. Let's go on to number 3 here with set number 75315, the Imperial Light Cruiser. This absolutely massive set was released in 2021 and it retails for $160 and includes 1,336 pieces. Now, this set has its flaws, I'm well aware. The build has a lot of minor inaccuracies, and also there's not that much interior space here, but the thing is, this set is still one large Imperial cruiser. And for those of you guys that have been watching my channel for a while, you know that I absolutely love it when LEGO Star Wars gives us large cruisers and ships, especially when they're ships that we haven't seen in LEGO form before. I know it looks a lot like a Star Destroyer, but the thing is, it looks different enough where it still looks like an entirely different vehicle. So yes, I'm well aware of the flaws in this set. I still think it's really cool and really well done, and I think any Mandalorian fan would love to have this in their LEGO collection. Or not even Mandalorian fan, just Star Wars fan in general, this is a cool set to have. Now, aside from the build here, we do get a great lineup of minifigures, starting with a Grogu here, which we've seen in many other sets. We do see that Din Djarin appear again. We also have Cara Dune here, who was formerly exclusive to that AT-ST. But then the next 3 minifigures here are really just outstanding LEGO Star Wars figures. So starting with the first one here, we have Fennec Shand, who is an absolutely magnificent minifigure. She's got really dope printing all over the place, including arm printing, which is nice to see. And that arm printing is actually different on either side of that minifigure, which makes it even more special. And on top of that, we get a new mold of her helmet, which is absolutely perfect. She's really awesome in The Mandalorian, and she's also really cool in the Bad Batch as well, so seeing her character in LEGO form here is absolutely amazing, and I think LEGO executed on this minifigure perfectly. Next up here we have Moff Gideon. This is an absolutely iconic character from the Mandalorian TV series, not just because he's played by Giancarlo Esposito, who also played Gus on Breaking Bad, but also because he's a really cool villain as well. Now the LEGO minifigure here is not that bad, but it's also not that great in my opinion. I think the torso print and head print and all that looks great. It's nice to see that dual colored cape here as well, but the one thing that kind of destroys this minifigure for me is the Darksaber. I know it's just an accessory and you can take it off the minifigure, but I still think this minifigure should have really gotten an updated new Darksaber mold. I mean, maybe back in like 2012 it would have been okay to just recreate the regular lightsaber here with a black rod. I mean, technically in LEGO terms it's the right thing to do. This is a Darksaber, it's a black lightsaber, so just make a black lightsaber in LEGO form by putting a black rod onto a lightsaber hilt. That sounds perfect, right? But the thing is, when you look at it here, it just doesn't look that cool. Lightsabers being made with that translucent plastic makes them look a little bit more shiny and special. This here just looks way too dull and bland compared to what it's trying to represent from the TV series, which is an absolutely amazing looking weapon. And I think in a set like this, which is super expensive and has all these really nice and well done minifigures, it's a real shame not to include a brand new mold for the Darksaber. Also, this set is 160 bucks, so it's definitely overpriced. I think they really could have included a new mold for that Darksaber as well. So yeah, this minifigure does have its flaws, but I still do think it's really cool and definitely very desirable to a lot of Mandalorian fans. Anyways, last up here we do have the Dark Trooper, which is an absolutely outstanding looking minifigure. It's also using that new armor mold which goes on top of the regular torso there, and it's also printed, which looks really nice. The printing here is very well done, but I'm really liking that new helmet mold, which is very accurate to how it looks in the TV series. It really captures the look of the Dark Troopers. It's just a really great minifigure. This minifigure is super sought after by the LEGO Star Wars community. It currently goes for like 60 bucks for this minifigure alone, which is absolutely insane and just shows you how much people want this minifigure in their collections. But the thing is, if you really want this minifigure and don't have this set, don't buy this set on Bricklink. Don't pay 60 bucks because we will be getting a Dark Troopers battle pack in 2022. If you would like more information about that set and all the other sets that we're going to be getting in 2022, make sure to check out these two videos which breaks all that down. But yeah, still a great set, even though it's a little bit overpriced and it does have its flaws. I still think it looks very cool and very menacing on display with a great lineup of minifigures, and that'll give it the number 3 spot on our list. Alright, at number 2 here we have set number 75292, the Razor Crest. This set was released in 2020 and it retails for $130 and includes 1,023 pieces. Now this is just an absolutely great set, right? I mean, in 2020 I said this was my favorite set of that year, and I think it definitely deserves that appreciation. I mean, this vehicle is extremely iconic, it's very unique looking, and I think LEGO executed on it very well. And you pair that with the fact that you get a great lineup of minifigures here, that being Grief Karga, Mando, Grogu, a really nice looking Scout Trooper, and also IG-11. This set and build and everything about this is just super iconic, and even if you're not into LEGO or Star Wars and we're just a fan of The Mandalorian, I think you might actually consider picking this up. It's just that awesome of a set, right? I mean, it's based off what is essentially their home in the Mandalorian TV series. Throughout all of Mando's and Grogu's travels, this is pretty much what they always come back to. Is their safe space. It's the one setting that we constantly return to in the show, making it very iconic and very desirable to many LEGO Star Wars fans. Now, unfortunately, all that got thrown out the window when it was blown up in The Mandalorian Season 2. I'm not hating on the decision of the writers or anything. I think it was very warranted at that point in the story. Like, seeing the Razor Crest get blown up really illustrates just how low Din Djarin is sunk and that he's pretty much hit rock bottom. But still, it came as a really big shock to me when I was watching it that first time. The whole time I was sitting there like, no, don't let it be true. Please come back in some way. And the thing is, I'm sure that he's gonna get a new vehicle or like a new Razor Crest in Season 3 of The Mandalorian, but it still really sucks to see, especially as somebody who owns this set and loves this set a lot. And unfortunately, because of that whole scene and what happened to it in the show, I do think the value of this set did drop a little bit. Because part of collecting LEGO Star Wars minifigures, especially with The Mandalorian itself, is having the latest and most updated variations of characters and vehicles and all that stuff. It's the same reason that the Trouble on Tatooine was so sought after by LEGO fans, right? I mean, that was the first time that we got to see Din Djarin and his complete Beskar armor. Like, the first Mandalorian minifigure wasn't bad or anything, just having this new updated variation in his newest, sleekest armor, which is even cooler, right? So kind of a similar effect with this. I think the next variation of this vehicle, which we're definitely going to see in Season 3 of The Mandalorian, and we're probably going to get a set based on from LEGO as well. I think when that set is released, this set will drop in value quite a bit. Unless he doesn't get a new vehicle at all, and I'm just completely predicting this wrong, which I highly doubt. But yeah, still a really cool vehicle and a really awesome set. It's one of my favorite LEGO Star Wars vehicles ever. I just really love the amount of space that's included in this build, in the back, in the cockpit, and even underneath the cockpit as well. There's just space and storage all over the place, which is a great thing to see in a LEGO Star Wars set. It does have some inaccuracies. There are things I would have liked to change on this build, but overall, it's still a really cool set and a really cool build. The price is a little bit high in my opinion. I think at 130 bucks, it's about $30 too expensive. I mean, at 1,023 pieces, and then also the size of the set, this set really should be 100 bucks. Like, it's definitely screaming that $100 price tag at me, but you know what, due to licensing and I guess the hype of the TV series, LEGO had to increase the price here to 130 bucks. And that is fairly common with Disney-based LEGO sets, especially with Marvel and Star Wars. We see that quite a bit. But yeah, guys, really great set here. Let's get on to our number 1 set. So the best LEGO Star Wars Mandalorian set ever made is set number 75312, Boba Fett's Starship. This set was released in 2021 and it retails for $50 and includes 593 pieces. Now, I know there's gonna be a lot of people here who are gonna be really pissed that I put this at number 1 and not the Razor Crest. And yes, I get it, I see why you're upset, but let me explain why this set is just so awesome to me. So, for those of you guys that have been watching my channel for a while, you know that I absolutely love Boba Fett. He's the first LEGO Star Wars minifigure I got. He's my favorite Star Wars character. I even wear his helmet when I record videos. Even my favorite LEGO Star Wars set of all time is the UCS Slave 1. So everything that I've always done has always lived and breathed Boba Fett. So getting a set like this with his new updated armor, and then also a very nice build and a very decently priced build of the Slave 1 as well, this set in my opinion is just absolutely perfect. Like, if you are a Star Wars fan, I highly recommend that you go out and buy this set. I know, I get it, there's a heavy amount of personal bias going into why I love this set so much, but even aside from that, I think the Slave 1 is one of the coolest looking Star Wars vehicles that they've ever made. But the thing is, unfortunately with LEGO Slave 1s, it's always been really hard to get your hands on them. They're always either really expensive, and the ones that aren't expensive just don't look that great. But this set here is affordable, and it also looks very nice as well. The build is great. I absolutely love what they did with the Slave 1 here. Yes, it's not completely size accurate and everything, which is fine. And then there's also another cool part of the build here, which is actually a speeder that kind of acts as almost like a stairway to ramp up onto the Slave 1, and it also doubles as a display stand as well. Now, that's something that you don't really see in this scale, right? You get a display stand so you can actually put up your Slave 1, and it also acts as a small vehicle as well. This is something that LEGO used to do back in the day with all the classic LEGO Star Wars sets, but they don't do that too often now, so it's nice to see that return here as well. And aside from the build, we get what is arguably one of the coolest LEGO Star Wars minifigures of all time. I know this is heavily biased to me because I love Boba Fett so much, but you gotta admit, this minifigure looks absolutely fantastic. Don't get me wrong, I always thought the classic Boba Fett looks really cool and menacing and everything, but I'm really liking this new redesign of Boba Fett's armor in The Mandalorian. And I think LEGO did a great job of recreating it here in LEGO form. It's not perfect, there are some flaws, but I think overall it's still a really good looking minifigure. I mean, you got really nice arm printing here, you got really nice toe printing, leg printing, all of that looks great. My only issue with this minifigure is the fact that they use olive green instead of a darker green for the helmet and jetpack. But that is not even too big of a deal, to be honest. It still looks like Boba Fett, it gets a look across here, and I think it's a great looking minifigure. Easily my favorite LEGO Star Wars minifigure of this year. And on top of that, you get a really nice din jar in as well, which we've seen in other sets and everything, but overall, this is a great minifigure selection here. At 50 bucks, you get a really nice vehicle, an iconic vehicle with two iconic and really well printed characters as well. So this set just knocks it out of the park on price, on build, on minifigures. Everything with this set is pretty much perfect in my opinion. And that is just not something that you can say with a lot of LEGO Star Wars sets, which is why this set, Boba Fett Starship, is the best LEGO Mandalorian set that we've ever gotten. Also, I did want to address the little controversy about the naming of this set. Obviously, I've been referring to it as the Slave 1 just because that's what I've been calling it my whole life. But Disney did actually change the name officially. It's now going to be called the Fire Spray. But this obviously has nothing to do with LEGO. They just had to name the set what Disney wants them to. And so because of that, this set is called Boba Fett Starship, when in reality, it's just a Slave 1. Now, as for the whole controversy around this name change, I think it's a little bit unnecessary, to be honest. I thought Slave 1 was an iconic name, and I'm probably still going to call it the Slave 1. But it has officially been changed by Disney, so I guess LEGO will just have to name these sets the Fire Spray and instead of the Slave 1. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Either way, guys, there's your look at the best LEGO Star Wars The Mandalorian sets ever made. As usual, guys, these rankings and lists are just my opinion, so make sure to let your opinion be heard by going down in the comments below and letting me know what your top 10 lists look like. Whether you agree with my list or think it's absolutely crazy, whatever you're thinking, guys, make sure to leave it down in the comments below. Also, guys, as a quick reminder, if you haven't had a chance to enter the giveaway, make sure to do so you can actually win some of these sets. But as usual, guys, that will pretty much do it for this video, and that will pretty much do it for me. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.